Hello everybody, welcome back to Bass and Bonsai. We're back again for the third BFS shootout this year already. And literally not more than 15 minutes ago is when I just did the megabass versus Abu Garcia shootout. That if you've watched that one, go back and watch it. So we won't need to test this rod, but this is the rod shootout. So you can see all of these rods, and there just happen to be what I own that will, are capable of casting BFS stuff. So I'm going to take the Shading X. I've put the LTX BF8 on it, and we're going to cast it. Now we've got a baseline to go off of. I cast this, almost hit the yellow line out in the street. See the car? Almost, not quite. I couldn't with this rod with the Rosso, I couldn't quite get that far. I was a couple feet shy of the Abu Garcia stuff. So I put this reel on this one. We're going to cast it. And first of all, then I'll know if, which rods are capable of doing what. But so far, as far as I'm concerned, the way I cast and how I have set up, this gets the most distance for me when I'm throwing a shaky head for sure of any of the BFS reels I've used. It's my favorite. It's lightweight, looks cool, seems to last, holds up. But now this is the rod shootout. These are just old rods I have. This one is the Fantasista. This is the Pagani Air Bamboo, 6'6". This is the Super Criffhanger, 6'3". This is a custom that I believe is 6'6". I don't know if you guys can make out what it says. I believe it's a Shakira blank. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's right at 7 foot. No, it's 6'6" also. And then we have a 6'6". This is a Team Daiwa X rod, and this one is their. If you can make out the model there, let's see what that says for you. TDX 66. 1M LFBC, 6'6", medium light, lure 1/8 to 1/2 ounce, line 4 to 12. That's a pretty good overall rod. It's what I would call a medium action, medium taper. It is almost a full flex. It's pretty good for cranking stuff. Not real great for setting single hook baits. But then this is the 6'3" TDX 6'3" 1MX. I guess that's BC. Medium 1/8 to 1/4, 8 to 12 pound line, 6'3". This was at one time my favorite rod for the lightweight stuff till I got into the other ones. This one is not a megabass. It kind of tricked you there. It's an Abu Garcia Gold Max. Sorry, everything's upside down. It's just the way it sits up out here. Now this started out as a 6'8", light action, 1/4 to 3/8 ounce, 0 to 10 gram lure. But this is a very soft rod, and I'll get them all out there and kind of show them to you. You'll see when I'm casting them. This one's real good for like the Ned rigs. Seems to work real good. That's one Noah skunked me on. He caught 8 fish in a row in one little spot with the Ned rig, and I was trying some other stuff. But those are the rods. I'm gonna put that reel on each one, get some casts just to try it on the shaky head and see which one I actually cast farther. So buckle up, hang on, here we go. All right, we just finished the other one, so yeah, I don't know if you can make that out. Almost identical to where the other one. I can't believe that the 6 inches did make a difference, but it seems like I can get about the same distance with this rod compared to the Abu Garcia. Now the wind's blowing again. I can feel it. So we'll call that good. We're going to call it a tie with the Abu Garcia almost to the yellow line. Let's go to another one. All right. This may look like the same rod, but it's not. This is the Super Criffhanger. And we're going to see what it does. And not quite to the road. Oh, well, almost to the road. So pretty close. Let me see. Yeah, about the same. That's what I think. I did test the length on some of these rods, and You would think that a longer rod would get you more length, but with BFS it doesn't seem to be the case. I think it's all in the action of said rod, and the spool is the main thing to start up. About the same distance. Yeah, there's right about as far as I got the shading X, about a foot away from that yellow line, which is the center of the road. So, but this one has a little more flex than the shading X. So when you go to set this hook is why I like the shading X over this one. You have to really yank when you get a bite on this thing. To the shading X, you don't have to yank near as hard. But let's go to the next. All right, right on to the fourth one. This is the Pagani Air Bamboo 6'6". Eighth. It says to an ounce. I've never tried that. You guys might remember in the other shootout I did. So we're gonna give it a shot. And wow, it jumped right out there the first cast, almost to the yellow line, within a foot or so, just over. Give it one more. And yeah, about a foot from the yellow line. So just by maybe a foot, it's got the most distance so far. Just a little more, but it's a more limber rod than the Abu Garcia I plan on using, or the shading X for that matter. So although the Cassie's a little further, I still wouldn't use this one for these. I mean, the hook set you would have would be like crazy hard, and you still may lose a fish or so here and there. But for casting any kind of other baits with treble hooks, topwaters, this is hard to beat. All right, we're gonna go right from probably the most rare rod, most expensive one I own, that megabass Pagani, to probably the cheapest rod I've owned. And if you guys can make that out, it has like, it probably flexes just a little bit more than that Pagani as far as how much the rod flexes, which makes it real good also for topwaters, stuff like that. But we're gonna try just as far as all out distance compared to the other rods I own. And it just blew them all away. It went past the yellow line on the first cast. So what that tells me is, if you guys are throwing treble hook type stuff and you're not really worried about having to have a hard hook set, and you're looking for BFS rod, you're wanting something is what in the fly fishing thing is known as almost a full flex, where the majority of the rod is going to move and bend. It's going to give you that just extra load on these lightweight lures. Seem to shoot right out there, and it's hitting the road every time easy. So it's definitely, I got the overall distance a foot or so further than the Pagani, and it's right there. So let's move on to the next. All right, just a few more to go. This is the custom I'd picked up off a local tackle tour member that lives by me here. I don't even remember. I think it's no, this one isn't a Shakira. It's a North Fork Customs either 55P or SSP 767HM, whatever that means. But it's a very lightweight blank. You can kind of see it has it's pretty soft to about there. It's not far from the it's kind of in between the shading X or the Pagani probably. So I imagine the performance as far as casting this will be somewhere in between the two. But this is the colors would be perfect with the ALC BF7. It's got the gold, black with the gold trim would go good. That was my plan last year. I just never got around to picking one up. And we hit the road on the first cast, not as far as what the Pagani or that old one I just used were. And the wind just blew. But we're out in the middle of the road, so it's right there with them. And it probably would be good for this application. Kind of be a good backup for the shaky head. You know, have a couple rods if you want to have, you know how impatient we are. Sometimes we got one rigged up with one color and one in the boat with the other, and we're just casting back and forth, you know, trying to fine tune exactly what they're hitting on. But almost the yellow. So yeah, this one, I put it right there with the Abu Garcia and the shading X that I did in the shootout, but not quite as far as what I was getting with the more full flex rods of the Pagani and the old Abu Garcia rod. Anyway, let's go to the Daiwa TDX rod. All right, here we go. Starting to get dark, but this used to be my favorite rod. I still like this. I wish they would come back with some sort of humped up grip on some of the, whether it be Daiwa, even Bass Pro Shop changed their humps and actually put out a decent rod nowadays. But now see, this one is only 6'3" and it's a little stiffer. So I'm thinking I'm not going to get the distance, but we're just going to try it out. And it is a capable shaky head. That's what one of the first rods I used for a shaky head was this rod. I've kind of, I guess, advanced over the few years to little different ones. But it hit the road. I think I just gave it a little more of a, you got to work maybe a little harder, but as long as you don't backlash, and it's hitting the road, so it's still a good capable. It's about almost halfway in the road, so I would call it not far from the 6'3" Super Criffhanger. Middle of the road to almost the yellow line. I'm gonna have to put this up there higher in, so let's go to the last one. All right, I hope you guys can see we're losing light, and this is the last one. You can see it's got a little more flex. It's a little stouter to tip, but then it gives, and it has a lot more overall give. So I'm guessing it should cast pretty good. Yeah, and it is about 2 foot from the yellow line right off the bat. As good as any of them as far as getting it out there. Now, like I said, setting hooks a whole different story. So let's wrap this baby up. Well, there you have it, everybody. Hopefully you can still see me. I'm gonna wrap this baby up and get inside. It's getting cold. This one just got the distance overall with ease. Not my first bet for this kind of thing, but then would be the Pagani, the Abu Garcia that I just picked up, the Fantasista, Shading X, then would be the probably the 6'3" TDX, then the 6'6", then the custom one, and then Super Criffhanger actually was my least favorite for overall distance on the shaky head. But like I said, the wind was blowing. This isn't 100% accurate, kind of for fun and to just give you guys an idea of what's out there, how I like these, how they work somewhat. If you want to get out there and pick you up something for BFS. BFS is fairly new to everybody, and I hope that helps you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and like always, guys, thanks for watching.